5. 明清严控与民俗化，信仰内核逐步沦丧。The Ming dynasty implemented a policy of strict control plus utilization toward Buddhism. Although Zhu Yuanzhang was born a monk, he set up the Sangha Registrar Department to govern the Sangha, prohibited monks and nuns from associating with scholar officials, and framed Buddhism as a tool for praying for blessings. A striking anecdote recorded in Yiwu Baci, A Year of No Significance, vividly reflected the moral decay of Buddhist monks in the Ming dynasty. When Wang Yangming sought lodging at a Buddhist temple, the monk refused him a proper room and directed him to a dilapidated temple on the mountain, where a tiger was said to roam, hoping the tiger would devour him so the monk could seize his belongings. Wang Yangming survived unharmed, and the monk's shock and chagrin at his safety laid bare the complete loss of Buddhist ethics and the collapse of monastic morality in the Ming dynasty. Many Ming emperors held Buddhist rituals in the palace, such as Emperor Chengzu building the Great Baoan Temple and Empress Dowager Li, mother of Emperor Wanli, renovating famous Buddhist mountains. Yet they all only clasped their hands and burned incense, without kowtowing, and these rituals were merely for palace prayers and appeasing the people. Buddhism completely became a spiritual sustenance for the lower classes. Matteo Ricci recorded in China in the 16th century. The journals of Matteo Ricci, that Ming scholar, officials disdained to interact with Buddhists and regarded them as empty and useless people, a testament to Buddhism's marginalization. Neo-Confucianism became the sole orthodoxy for the imperial examination, further squeezing Buddhism's ideological space. The research on Buddhist doctrines almost stagnated, and Chan and Pure Land Buddhism, though still popular, lost their intellectual vitality completely. The Tiantai school, which had barely survived, was only inherited in a few temples in Zhejiang and Jiangsu, and its doctrinal system was incomplete. The Sanlun and Yogacara schools were only mentioned in historical records, with no living inheritance. The prosperity of Buddhism in the Qing dynasty was merely superficial. Tibetan Buddhism was forged into a political bond. Emperor Shunji performed the kowtow ritual when meeting the 5th Dalai Lama. Emperor Qianlong built the Yong Temple and the 8 outer temples, and incorporated the inheritance of Tibetan Buddhism into the Golden Urn lottery system, making it a complete tool for border governance. Although some of the Ming dynasty's strict controls on Han Buddhism were lifted, Han temples in the Jiangnan region flourished with incense due to commercial prosperity, but only engaged in Buddhist rituals and prayer services, with doctrinal research almost at a standstill. The quality of the Sangha continued to decline. Many people became monks only to make a living, not to practice Buddhism, and the relaxation of religious precepts became a widespread phenomenon. Forchanbuddhism. The koan practice became a rigid formality, and the spirit of direct pointing to the mind was lost. The Pure Land school became more and more popular among the people, but it was mixed with feudal superstition, and the original doctrinal essence was gradually diluted. 6. The Republic of China. Political suppression, collapse of precepts, and isolated renaissance. Irreversible decline. 6. 民国政治打压与戒律崩坏，孤绝复兴，难挽颓势。BY, the Republic of China. The decline of Han Buddhism had penetrated to its very core, and it suffered a new round of political suppression while facing the collapse of monastic precepts, making its survival even more difficult. In Henan province, Feng Yuxiang's military rule brought a heavy blow to local Buddhism. He advocated Christianization in the areas under his jurisdiction, supported the spread of Christianity, and built a large number of churches, while adopting an obvious exclusionary attitude toward Buddhism. A large number of Buddhist temples in Henan were forced to close, their land was confiscated and donated to Christian institutions, and many monks were expelled or forced to return to secular life. The rise of Christianity in Henan, supported by political power, further squeezed the living space of Buddhism, which became a microcosm of the survival of Han Buddhism in the Republican period, under the impact of foreign religions and political changes. On the whole, the social order of the Republic of China was chaotic with constant wars, and Buddhism lost its last institutional protection. Master Xu Yun, 1840 to 1959, a revered Chan master, witnessed a shocking scene at Jizu Mountain, a renowned Buddhist sacred site. The monks there openly drank alcohol and ate meat, flagrantly violating the 5 precepts and 10 good deeds, the fundamental code of Buddhist monasticism. The temple, once a pure place for practice, had become a secular place without rules and regulations. Such a phenomenon was common across the country. Many temples were occupied by warlords or military forces, and the temple property was embezzled. The monastic discipline was completely loose. and many people entered the monastic order only to escape the ravages of war and seek a living, with the loss of genuine religious faith becoming a universal phenomenon. Master Suyun devoted his entire life to rectifying Buddhist precepts and reviving the Chan school, rebuilding ancient temples such as Nanhua Temple and Yunju Mountain, and trying to restore the doctrinal inheritance of various sects. He invited scholars to collate Tiantai and Yogacara classics and advocated the unity of 5 sects, hoping to integrate the advantages of various sects and revive Han Buddhism. However, his efforts were like a drop in the bucket in the turbulent social environment. The surviving Chan and Pure Land Buddhism were also in chaos. The Chan school sects were fragmented, and there were few masters with profound doctrinal attainments. The Pure Land School's mass gatherings were often exploited by local forces, and the religious activities deviated from the original doctrine. The Tiantai school, which had been inherited intermittently, only had a few elderly monks maintaining the inheritance in Zhejiang, and there was a serious lack of young successors. The Sanlun and Yogacara schools had long been extinct, and their doctrinal research could only be carried out by academic scholars through historical documents without the possibility of sectarian revival. Conclusion: